Good morning. Are you tired yet of the impeachment? Actually, I'm really learning a lot. So today, what I really want to discuss with you is quid pro quo. Okay? Now, when was the first time any of you heard of quid pro quo? I know the first time that I actually heard it and really understood what it meant was in The Silence of the Lambs, the movie. Remember when Anthony Hopkins said to Jodie Foster, quid pro quo? Quid pro quo, Clarice, quid pro quo, which meant I'm going to give you something, but then you have to give me something back. Well, you know what? That's how most of us live our lives. It's definitely the way that Washington works. It's always worked that way. Think about it. Think about our history. Think about all the foreign affair discussions and debates, and when we choose to get involved in a civil war in a piece of shithole country, and why we choose to get involved in Iraq, but we don't get involved, we don't choose to get involved in Rwanda. It's because there's nothing there for us. Why do you think the first President Bush got us into the Gulf War, the first one? Not because anybody in America gave a shit if the Iraqis were killing each other in a civil war. It was because they were sitting on a bunch of oil and we wanted a peace. We wanted a peace, as Tony Soprano would say, God bless him. God bless James Gandolfini. It was quid pro quo. We're going to save your sorry asses from getting annihilated by Saddam Hussein, but then we want some of that oil you're sitting on top of. When other countries are killing each other, we say, you know what, we're going to sit that one out. Why? Because there's nothing in it for us. Think about this. Think about your daily life. Quid pro quo. It's in everybody's life. If you have sex, if you're having sex right now, there's quid pro quo in your life. Think about it. What do most people complain about the most with their sex life? Well, it's all about him. I don't get any attention. Ladies, are you with me? You know what I'm talking about. He gets done and then it's over. Quid pro quo. Everybody wants to come. Come on. It's the way it works. When you don't get paid enough attention, when your man doesn't wait for you, you lose your mind. It's quid pro quo. Yeah, I'm going to do something for you, but then you got to reciprocate. You got to, do your due diligence. Quid pro quo has been part of American and foreign politics for the ages. Alan Dershowitz said point blank, our president, President Trump, was looking out for our money. First of all, I don't know why we're giving money to the Ukraine anyway. I don't think we should. It's my tax dollars wasted. I think my tax dollars would be better spent here in America on Americans, like my little cousin who's suffering with breast cancer and she can't pay all the medical bills because her insurance isn't covering it. I think our money would be better spent for people like my little cousin Nikki, rather than going over to Ukraine. Do you know any? I don't know any Ukrainians. What do I give a fuck about what happens in the Ukraine? We already know that they also interfered in the 2016 election. Why are we giving them money to help them fight their own little brouhaha wars that they're involved in? But what Donald Trump did, as Alan Dershowitz pointed out, and all the Trump lawyers pointed out very, very well, by the way, you actually didn't fall asleep when Donald Trump's lawyers were talking like you did when, oh my God, Adam Schiff. If I never see that little gerbil again, it will be fine by me. But at the end of the day, really think about it. Donald Trump said to the Ukrainian Grand Poobah, whatever they call the Ukrainian president over there, I'm sure the election wasn't like a democratic election, but anywho, The guy who was in charge in Ukraine, he said, look, dude, I don't want American taxpayer money coming to a corrupt country. So if you're still dealing with corrupt people, like back in the day when you paid Hunter Biden, a 20-year-old nobody, except his daddy was vice president of the United States, 85 grand a month to do a job he was not experienced for or qualified for in any way. If you're still doing that kind of shit, we're not giving you any more aid till you clean up your act. Guess what, guys? That's President Trump's job. That would have been President Obama's job, except for some reason, President Obama, I don't think he liked it when he found out that little Biden was working for the Ukraine, but he didn't do anything about it. Trump said, no, not on my watch. Something's wrong here. Now look, sure, will it benefit him if Biden is dirtied up a little bit in the next election? Maybe yes, maybe no. But that wasn't the point. The point is, I'm not giving you American taxpayer dollars until you clean up your act. That's our president's job, by the way. Obama did it. Obama refused to give taxpayer dollars to certain countries when he was president because he didn't like the way their country was being run. And he never gave them the aid, by the way, from what I'm hearing. He never actually released the aid. Trump did give the Ukraine the aid. And Ukraine, by the way, never did anything. They did not investigate Biden or little Hunter. And Trump said, well, you know what? Convince me you're not corrupt. The guy obviously convinced Trump. Fine. Here's your money. Go with God. So there was really nothing. First of all, there's definitely nothing criminal there. Trump didn't say, for example, as was just said yesterday, if you don't build a hotel with my name on it in the Ukraine, I'm not giving you your money. That would be impeachable because Trump is only acting in his own best interest, not in our country's best interest. But when he made this claim to the Ukrainian dude, clean up the country, stop hanging out with the corrupt people that your predecessor hung out with, and then you'll get your money. Investigate all these corrupt corporations like Burisma, and then you'll get your money. That was protecting us, folks. And guess what? That's his job. That's why he's the guy in the White House. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what Obama was supposed to do. When we got into that first Gulf War with Iraq, it wasn't about taking out Saddam Hussein, because Bush never did that, the first Bush. God rest his soul. But my husband was in that war. He was on an aircraft carrier in the Gulf. He was in danger. And why? Not because we wanted to remove Saddam Hussein. Not because Saddam Hussein was threatening America. But because he had oil. And we wanted a peace. So we said to the people that Saddam Hussein was annihilating, we're going to come in and help you out, and then you give us rights to that oil that you're sitting on. That was quid pro quo. That's what quid pro quo is. You know, think about your daily life. How many times do you're asked to do something, and the first thing you think of, and of course, everybody tells me how selfish I am, but sometimes I do feel like this. You're asked to do something, and you're like, well, what's in it for me? I mean, am I going to have a good time if I go to this party? Or am I just going because it's like a duty? Is it going to be worthwhile for me to go? That's quid pro quo, and we all do it every day, and we're not charged with a crime. We don't lose our jobs. Hell, even at work, you do quid pro quo. Well, you know, I'll volunteer to work on Good Friday, but then I want another day of my choice off as a replacement for working Good Friday. So people who go to church and shit can go to church and shit. It's quid pro quo. I'm not going to give up a paid holiday and work on a holiday and not get anything back. It's quid pro quo. We do it all the time. It's what we do. I learned so much from hearing Alan Dershowitz speak. And I know some of you have really strong opinions against Alan Dershowitz. I've read his books. I think he's amazing. I think at 81, the fact that he still stands up and is so proud to be an American and loves his country and is willing to fight for a president he didn't even vote for, I think that's pretty damn cool. And I listened. I stayed up late. I took a nap, got up just to watch Alan Dershowitz. I really did. And I was impressed. I was impressed because he gave us a history lesson that we needed. I will say, as popular as that Hamilton play is, I have not seen the play. I didn't know much about Alexander Hamilton. But when Alan Dershowitz talks about Alexander Hamilton, I want to read more. I'm not going to run out and see the play. Too expensive. But I will read books. I want to hear what Alexander Hamilton actually had to say back in the day. The Founding Fathers, once again, as Alan Dershowitz so eloquently said, put so many stopgaps, so many obstacles in front of impeachment so that it would not be a partisan weapon to remove a president just because the opposition party didn't like him. And look, you know that I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for her, for Hillary. And today, for several reasons, some of which have to do with some local stuff going on with our Democratic mayor here in Lancaster, I really do not consider myself a Democrat anymore, and I'm really leaning toward even changing my party affiliation to Republican. And I am going to vote for Donald Trump. You know, Joe Biden has made some really serious... I was a Biden fan when he first announced, but after that shit he pulled the other day where he's like, well, don't vote for me then. Oh, you're supporting Bernie. He's pushing a person who says, I'm going to vote for you, dude. I mean, come on, you don't do that. You don't do that. You're running for office. You need every vote you can get. You do not tell someone not to vote for you. That's just like a no-no. I think Biden's losing his mind. And I think Biden might be scared. If you want to talk about calling witnesses, tomorrow they're going to vote. And I'm going to watch, because if they call witnesses, the first witness I want to hear from is the whistleblower, because I don't like anonymous accusations. If you're going to accuse somebody of a crime, if I accuse somebody of a crime, the police, I'm going to get a subpoena, and I'm going to have to go testify at their trial and explain why I believe that person committed a crime against whatever. The whistleblower has to testify. If we're going to do witnesses, again, quid pro quo. If the Democrats want witnesses, then the Republicans get witnesses too. I want to hear Hunter Biden explain how he got an $85,000 a month job at a time when my own husband didn't even make $85,000 a year, but would have been better qualified for the job Hunter Biden was given in the Ukraine than Hunter Biden was. What 21-year-old is given 85 grand a year or a month for doing a job he has no experience in? Except, oh, my daddy's the vice president of the United States. How can you not hire me? So I want to hear from him. I want him under oath. I want to hear the president's attorneys cross-examine Hunter Biden. Well, what college did you graduate from when you got this job at Burisma? What was your degree in? What was your experience? Why were you the only person in the entire world that could do this job? Was there no one in the Ukraine that could be hired to do this job? I bet someone in the Ukraine would have loved to have made 85 grand a month. Why hire an American for the job at all? Yeah, lots of questions. Boy, I wish I were a lawyer. But seriously, folks, come on. This whole impeachment trial has completely given me a bad taste in my mouth about the Democrats. They don't trust us to vote in November. You know, November isn't that far away. Time goes fast. They couldn't wait. They had to do it right now. Because even if the president is acquitted, the Democrats are now going to go out there and stump for whichever candidate they elect, God help them, and say, but Trump's impeached. And you know what Trump supporters are going to say? Who the fuck cares? We want our taxes to keep going down. We want our economy to keep going up. We want to have America put first instead of all these foreign countries. We want immigration reform. We don't want immigrants coming here to get on our welfare system. I like that, Trump. You got me with that one. No more people. And you know, that's a real law. That's from 1930s, by the way. I'm reading a book that takes place in the 1930s. The law that says nobody comes into this country if they're coming here and they're going to end up being a dependent on our government, on our welfare system. If you came here in the 30s, you had to be able to work and support yourself. We didn't support you. So that goes back to the 30s. Maybe I should have been alive back then. I would have appreciated that rule. I'm tired of supporting people who come here and don't contribute to our country. Hell, I'm tired of supporting American citizens who don't work to support our nation and support their communities and support their children. So Trump's done a lot of good things. But the Democrats don't trust the American people. And you know what? Just to be a little funny, to end the show, maybe they have a reason to. I mean, come on. But they shouldn't have been so afraid that even if Crooked Joe turns out to be Crooked Joe, if Joe Biden really did have a conflict of interest and his son really did have a job that he wasn't qualified for and was overpaid for, and there was some problems there, well, they need to remember that they still have hope. There's still hope for Joe Biden because maybe Democrat voters will say, oh, we don't care. Just like the Christian evangelicals voted for Trump in 2016. Think about it. Christian evangelicals voted for Trump. Married 3 times, cheated on every woman he's ever been with, has kids to 3 different women, talks about pussy on national television, says the word pussy on national television. They voted for him anyway. They didn't care. They didn't care. He didn't release his tax returns. They didn't care. They voted for him anyway. Because they liked his attitude. They liked his, I'm going to get shit done when your swamp of Washington, the stuff we're seeing on TV every day now, instead of seeing regular daytime programming for the last 2 weeks. You want to see Days of Our Lives fans, you got to get up at 2 in the morning. They show it at 2 in the morning. I saw it by accident. I'm not a Days of Our Lives fan. Anyway. But seriously, of course, they don't trust Americans to vote with intelligence. Look what Don Lemon did on CNN the other night. Making fun of anybody who supports Donald Trump. We don't read. We can't read. We can't find Ukraine on a map, even if there's a U and a picture of a crane where Ukraine is. I'll be honest with you. I can't find Ukraine on a map. You know why? Because I don't give a shit about the Ukraine. I don't care. As far as I know, they're not threatening to bomb America or fly planes into our buildings. I don't give a fuck about the Ukraine. Who cares? I'm upset that my money goes there because I don't think it should. Ooh, of all the countries in the world, which one would I like to support financially? Well, it wouldn't be Ukraine. Seriously. My beautiful island home of Jamaica just had a hurricane. Let's send them some money. Rather my money go there than to the Ukraine. Who the hell are the Ukraine? I don't care. You know, we support Ukraine to give a fuck you to Russia. And then we say, well, but we love Russia. We want, it's so confusing. It's ridiculous. How about we do this? We stop giving money to all foreign countries and put all the money we used to give to foreign countries into America. I bet my little cousin would be able to get Her Neulasta, her cancer treatment that she has to get, that's $4,000 for each treatment, $40,000 total. I bet she'd be able to get that at no cost if we had more national health care here, that she could get her prescriptions at no cost to her as a American-born citizen. Bet that would be really cool. Fuck Ukraine. Support my cousin. Support other people with debilitating illnesses. Support people who can't afford their insulin. Support our elderly who have to choose between medication and food and are on food stamps. How about that? So at the end of the day, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, I do. I know he's going to be acquitted. I know we're going to have an election in November. And even though Don Lemon thinks anybody who supports Trump can't read, can't write, speaks with a Southern accent, like we're a bunch of hick, stupid people, well, I'm here to tell you, I'm a new Republican. I'm a new Trump supporter, and I am far from stupid, Mr. Lemon. I'm not stupid at all. And I have read more books against Donald Trump than I have for him. And yet I know where my vote's going in November. And you know what? As much as I do not like Mike Pence, if it turns out that Trump is removed from office and Mike Pence ends up running, I'll vote for him too. I know who I'm not voting for. I'm not voting for Bernie Sanders. I'm not voting for Joe Biden. Not voting for crazy Liz Warren, who took on an American Dad. That was supposed to be the show today, but because of impeachment, I decided to put this show first. Next week, you'll hear about Liz Warren versus the American Dad, which you probably didn't hear about when it actually happened because everybody was talking impeachment. So anyway, remember, don't let anybody tell you, and I'm talking to my Democratic friends and followers here, don't ever let anyone tell you that you are stupid because of who you believe in and who you want to vote for. Every American has a right to vote the way you want to. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I am very comfortable telling you who I'm going to vote for. I don't hate anybody. I don't disparage anybody who chooses to vote for Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders or Liz Warren. That's your choice. I will debate to you. I will argue with you why you probably shouldn't. But that's different. Don Lemon was on CNN the other night basically saying that anyone who supports the Republicans and supports Donald Trump are a bunch of redneck, stupid hicks. And I took offense to that. And I would have taken offense to it even if I had not decided to change parties. Because you don't do that to people. I flew off the handle when Hillary lost. For about a week, a month, I hated Trump. I hated on Trump. And I did say some awful things about people who voted for him. And I'm sorry for that. And I truly am sorry. Don Lemon tried to roll back what he said the other night. It didn't come off sincere. I sincerely apologize. Nobody should be criticized or vilified for who they choose to cast their American-born right to vote for. It's your vote. It's your decision. I'm just someone who can tell you like I see it, tell it like I see it, and then you will decide for yourself, as you always do. And I trust you to do that. You don't look at me in your mirror, and I don't look at you in mine. So you guys will end up doing what you can do to be able to look in your mirror the day after the election and live with the results. And of course, we all have to live with the results. But please don't let this impeachment change your mind in any way. If you are a Trump supporter, stay a Trump supporter. And if you support Biden, keep supporting him. Although, if you disagree with even one little thing, he might just tell you he doesn't want your vote anyway. So, I know if any politician that I would have the privilege to meet would push me aside and go, vote for someone else, I'd be like, okay, that's easy. Fine, I'll vote for someone else. Fuck you. I came here to meet you. I tell you I disagree with one little thing in your agenda, and go vote for someone else then. You got it. I'm good. Quid pro quo. Anyhow, I want you all to please be kind to one another. Please. Don't criticize someone. Don't criticize me just because I've changed my mind. Don't criticize your opponents, anybody who doesn't agree with you. We all can't always agree on everything. The important thing is we're all American citizens. We care about America, and we need to put America first. The Democrats in Congress are not doing that right now. They're wasting time on this impeachment when they should be working for us, the people who pay their salaries. Whether you voted for them or not, they are your employees, and they're sleeping on the job. Let's discuss it. Political Paula is out.